Hello, students. Why don't you come with me? I thought it's a beautiful day to get outside and look around and see what's happening in nature. In fact, we can do this all through the spring and see what's coming alive. Follow me. So the main thing we'll be doing is looking for signs of spring. So what are some of the things you notice? Maybe birds coming back, some flowers coming up in your yard, trees getting leaves. The scientific word for that is called phenology. So it's two parts: pheno, which means to appear or appearance, like in phenotype, and ology, which you know is the study of. So if you put those together, you get phenology, which sounds kind of weird. So you just kind of take out the O, one of them, and push it together, and you have phenology. Sounds a lot better. We will always have something that we review. So this time I'm reviewing about trees, and then we'll look for something new, something that's coming alive in the spring, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. And then you can find things in your yard or in your neighborhood that you can then join the discussion on Schoology and share with me, and we'll see what happens from there. So I took the time to count the rings on this tree, and there's about 115. So this tree was very old when it was cut down. So just by looking at this stump, this tree looked healthy, but it probably had a disease called oak wilt, which is caused by a fungus. And I'm looking over here at the edge here, that little line right there underneath the bark, and that's where the living cells are, or were. And every year as the tree grows older, that layer kind of gets pushed in and crushed a little bit. That becomes a ring on the tree. This part of the tree is called the sapwood. So in the winter time, or in the fall, the sugars and water that the tree has stored up comes inside the sapwood. And then in the spring, this is what starts to flow back out into the twigs and the buds, so that the tree can have that energy from the sugars for new growth. Okay, so here is one of the very early signs of spring. And that is a tree that's called the silver maple. Nice big spreading tree. Has, at this time of year, the largest buds of any tree. So just at a glance you can see that something's going on up there on that tree. The buds are already opening. I can see that from down here, and those are mostly flower buds. So the reproductive part of the tree is already coming alive. And that means that sugary sap had to travel up out into the branches, out to where those buds were, so that the tree had some energy to use to make the flowers. Well, hello. It's not quite as beautiful of a day as it was when I left. It's raining a little bit, but I don't mind. I like the fresh air. So I have some things for us to work with here. I'm going to just set this stuff down and collect some branches. And this is the red Ocean Dogwood. That's a leaf from last year. Outside. And I got an idea from a Facebook friend, a former high school science teacher of mine, Mr. Niemela. And what he says he does is in the spring, before anything's leafed out, he goes and he cuts some branches of shrubs and trees, and he puts them in water and he puts them in water and sets them by a window and waits to see what happens. And what he's hoping to happen is that these buds are going to get some of the sugars from inside the twig, and they're going to move out with the water, and the cells here in the buds are going to start to go through mitosis and grow, and pretty soon these will open up and maybe we'll see a small branch and some leaves coming out. So thank you, Mr. Niemela. We're going to try this and see what happens.
Why don't you try it?
Try it at home. See what happens, and you can share it with me. And I'll be showing you these next week. Well, students, I hope you enjoyed episode 1 and that you can join me next week for episode 2. Who knows what we'll be finding outside. See you later.